Yeah, yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Un saluto a
Hey.
tutti.
What's up, Juventini? Welcome back to the AJC. All right, and I'm very, very happy to be joined by Mirko Di Natale. Mirko, how are you doing, my friend?
Always my great pleasure, my friend. A big hug for you from your community and always people that is online here at 5 at 41 morning in your time to follow me. Me is incredible, my friend.
Oh
Incredible.
yeah, oh
Thank
yeah.
you.
You get
Thank you.
a lot of love from the AJC community. We're seeing them come in and get caught up here, so we're going to obviously get to everything around Juventus, transfer rumors and such, and we will see kind of your thoughts, what you have as far as some type of insight. We have to talk a little bit about the game tomorrow, Juventus and Frosinone as well. Okay, so a lot to tackle, a lot to dissect there. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with Mirko today. I'm just trying to clear up the chat here and get your guys' comments coming through so that we can get you in here. Okay, so yeah, you see everybody saying ciao to Mirko here, and everybody's always excited when you come here. Very, very happy for this. All right, and we are going to take a look at everything. I have some questions prepared, okay, which we'll probably start off with. Everybody that's in the live chat can see
Easy,
if
easy, my friend. Easy, easy.
yeah,
Okay.
I always take it easy. We'll see if any of the questions differ, and then you guys can, of course, fight in here with adding yours to it. Okay, but first things first, we are obviously official voice and channel for all the official fan clubs in North America. Okay, and we just want to give two little shout outs to a couple events in North America that are going down. Okay, so number one, Toronto is providing another 2024 Turin experience trip. It has two games, Juventus versus Lazio Coppa Italia semifinal in Turin. It has the second one as match day 31, Juventus versus Fiorentina. It includes stadium tours. You guys will stay in the heart of the city and explore the charm of Turin. And it also has a wine tasting with Hernandez at his vineyard, all right, is part of this tour as well. This is a great trip that's being set up and organized by the crew out of Toronto. For Miami, for the game against Napoli, March 3rd, Andrea Barzagli is joining the official fan clubs in Miami to watch that game, and that is absolutely beautiful, and excited for that. So two great events being put on by the official fan clubs, all right?
Wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful is amazing. I think for Juventus fan could be participate and to follow former players, big players as Barzagli and Hernanes. I understand well.
Yep.
Hernanes, the Profeta. It's amazing. It's wonderful.
Yeah, absolutely. Awesome experience. They did the vineyard tour with Hernandez last year, and it looked amazing. So great events that are put on by those fan clubs. So show some love to them. All right. Now, Mirko, we're gonna kick things off with some questions.
My
Obviously.
man, my man, tell me everything. Okay.
So the first one we're gonna start with is a player that we're kind of wondering if he's going to be starting tomorrow or not, if he's going to be playing. And then we have, of course, that's Alcaraz. He came out of nowhere, was a surprise kind of signing in the winter mercado. But is it true Juventus is already actually looking to renegotiate the deal with Alcaraz and bring down pricing? Or, and I also heard maybe just bringing a loan again for next season. Do you have anything on this?
Yes, Juventus could be renegotiate the price to the end of the season. This news is in my mind, in my hand, of the end of January. I know from Juventus that there is the chance, this this possibility. And tomorrow, the same Allegri in press conference told 10 to 40 minutes ago that Alcaraz could be play tomorrow, in my opinion, as mezzala, and could be the same. I tell you of the records, no, before the start of the show. And Alcaraz could be, in my opinion, repeat the same qualities as Vidal for the role, no, for the attack of
Yeah.
the role. And Alcaraz, in my opinion, is a good player. Could be 2, 3, 4 roles. Falso 9, okay, the wing, attack wing, and the mezzala, or could be played as regista, as more or less the role that today is interpreted for Locatelli. Is very difficult if Juventus today with very difficult to pay
the
500
selfie. Yeah.
Exactly, 500 millions is a very high price. If Alcaraz found continuity step by step, journey after journey, for me Juventus could be renegotiate concrete the price, and could be in the summer, next summer, could be really buy a strong midfield as Cop Miners. Cop Miners is a very dream of Giuntoli, of Juventus in this now.
Okay, so Coop Miners is in fact top target for the midfield, do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What about the players we're hearing about around Bologna? Because we're hearing about Calafiore, and then we're hearing about Ferguson, and we're hearing about Xerxes.
Yes. I can't I can tell you, my man, or you a cast community, that Juventus are following at Dallara more time Lewis Ferguson, and in the last months are interested about Calafiore, and about the defense of the characteristic of Calafiore. Calafiore is not only that Juventus can follow in this moment, for 2 or 3 reasons, because could be the chance of a big sell in summer. We know that Bremer is the most targeting of Premier League clubs. Manchester United, that follows Calvini and under defense, following active Bremer only time. Every time, sorry, but Juventus can be following, for example, Lloyd Kelly of Bournemouth, with the contract is expiring in June of this year, and Maio Hermoso, but Maio Hermoso of Atletico Madrid, I don't have in this moment concrete news, no contacts between his entourage. Is with the agents, Iñaki or Inzaki. Wait, I verify with the name of agent of Hermoso.
Yeah, that's okay. So yeah.
Espizua Iñaki is very difficult to pronounce this name.
Yeah. Okay. So more coming in on Ferguson lately. Okay, Calafiore, they are interested, and then Xerxes.
Yes, but in this moment, for my info, is very close to Milan. Milan have in the recent past have requested the information with more concrete around Juventus and other Italian clubs interested.
Okay. Is there any looks, any news about? Is there any links to Orsolini and maybe a return to Juventus? Nothing.
No, no, Orsolini in this time no, but Orsolini for me is one of the most talent in Italia, as scoring, as assist, as the play. Is my player of Fantacalcio, Orsolini, and yesterday have to done an assist for Fabian, and no, in this moment I haven't news concrete to Orsolini.
Nothing towards Orsolini. Okay. We are gonna ask. Okay, so we'll get this one out of the way. Is there any chance that we go for Kefren Taram in the summer?
Catherine is one of 10, 14 midfield that Juventus are following in this moment, and in the recent past. Kefren Turam more or less have the same cost of Cop Miners, 60 million, more or
Mm,
less. And
yeah.
Juventus are looking to a midfield with the same qualities, but is in this moment, if I share with you the real target, the name of real target is Tionco Miners. I told last week about Goretzka, but Goretzka is one of 10, 30 names on the list of Giuntoli, for example. And
Yeah.
in this moment is not hot name as Thuram, as Habib Diarra, as Manu Kone, that are all midfield that Juventus are following in this moment.
Yeah, so just a long list of midfielders essentially. So yeah, we just gotta wait and see. Okay, so
In Italy, my man, for one example, in Italy, I tell you that the list of Giuntoli is the Rotoloni Regina, is the carta igienica. I don't know if.
Cartagena,
Uh,
yeah,
Sorry, aspetta.
that's okay. I'm just
Ti-
looking at more coming in here too as well.
Aspetta.
Okay, yeah, okay, okay.
Is the very very long list. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Okay, that's funny. All right, now I want to ask you about more the current club. I think there's a question here that refers to three players, Vlahovic, Chiesa, and Bremer. We could pull it up here. And this is Dom trying to get in here on Italian for you, Mirko. There you go, okay? Perché
But
tutti e tre saranno nella rosa della Juventus la prossima stagione. Vlahovic, Chiesa e Bremer.
Mm, is I reply you, Dom, in English. I appreciate your Italian is perfect, very perfect, but in my opinion is very very difficult. The relationship between Allegri and Chiesa is not perfect in this moment for many reasons. One of these is the role. Allegri believed in Chiesa. In Chiesa uh, close to the striker, no, of Vlahovic, but Chiesa play well for wing, for ala, okay, and it's difficult the situation about his renew of contract. I know that in December of last December, um, the meeting with his agent Fali Ramadani come posso dire, non c'è stata, non è avvenuta, is not
Okay.
okay, is
Yeah,
not
yeah.
okay, and Juventus can confirm that the reapproaching of the contract will be at the end of season, and it's a strange situation, but because Chiesa and Vlahovic expiring in next year, and in my opinion, in this spring, they must to be one contract, okay, but if will be in the end of the season, want to say want to say logical that there is a difficult in in Orizzonte, okay? And in my opinion, if Vlahovic or Chiesa don't renew the contract this year, in June 2044, both of the players are in the mercato, and Juventus are hearing the possible offers for them. With Bremer is a different situation. Bremer have, like I say few minutes ago, the very Premier Club's interest, but Juventus don't want to sell in this moment Bremer for 50 or 60 million, because
Yeah.
Juventus believe really in Bremer, and for Juventus is the very heir of Chiellini.
Yeah. So now if an offer comes really high, okay, because we had a list that was put out, reported 3 days ago, 7 certainties at Juventus for next season, and the list was Bremer, Giallo, Danilo, Locatelli, Yildiz, Cambiaso. Essentially, was them. There was one more in there, or yeah, I'm not sure. I can't remember the seventh name, but there was no Chiesa. There was not even any Vlahovic. There was no Huijsen or even Sule. So Huijsen is kind of one that everyone's kind of nervous. I expect Huijsen to come back and be integrated into the team next year. Do you have any insight on Huijsen and Sule as far as them being integrated into the team next year? Will
Uh,
Sule be moved? Will he be sold, do you think?
but Sule, in my opinion, in my personal opinion, is always more distance of Juventus. Okay, for a reason I don't know. I don't know if Juventus want to sell Sule for non so, I don't know if the very price, the very high price, 35 or for 40 millions, or for a reason tactical, if Allegri stay at Juventus. In my opinion, is the very mistake, is a very fault, the sell of Sule. Hausen is the difficult talk about Juventus. Juventus told always, and that Hausen and Yildiz are the future of Juventus. And I don't know my colleagues, my Italian colleagues, that reporting every day about the possible offer of Roma. It is very logical if Roma next summer could be try to renegotiate the formula with Juventus. For example, Juventus women will do the next thing with PSG for Calligais, for the defense Calligais, is loan, okay, without option to buy, and next summer Braghin, if Braghin obviously stay in Juventus, renegotiate the contract, the formula with PSG. It's the very logical that Roma will do the same thing. De Rossi and before Mourinho last month appreciate these players. Hausen is the one, in my opinion, one of the best talent in defense for next year. I don't see the other players, other many players, will be a top five in 2, 3, 4 years in
Yeah.
Hausen. And for Juventus is the very jewels to have Hausen, Facundo Gonzalez, non, don't
Yeah.
to say, don't to call, don't to remember, but Facundo Gonzalez are doing the good thing with Sampdoria, with Pirlo in Serie B. And Juventus in this moment have Danilo, have Rugani, have Alexandro. Alexandro last year,
Yeah. Is gonna
uh,
leave this
is
summer. Yeah,
is very satisfied for
yeah,
me. Okay, and have many defenders. I think that could be a new in this moment in February. I think the new loan for Facundo Gonzalez and Dinhausen, but Dinhausen have demonstrated this January could be change his opinion very easy. Okay,
yeah,
his words in this moment is difficult to stay to remains. No, another players in first thing. Um, should be going to Frosinone, okay? And in my opinion, the decision of the loan of Hausen um, are must satisfying between Juventus and the entourage of Hausen. Yildiz is unsellable, for example, as Hausen to see the situation next summer if Allegri will stay on the bench.
okay, okay. So, as far as certainties go and untouchable, you talked about Yildiz. We had this list of 7 players for certainties or whatnot. Does it feel kind of like anybody truly is untouchable though if a strong offer comes in? It kind of feels like it's up in the air and we don't know which way Juventus is going to go, right? So let's say, for instance, Sule, Yildiz also whatnot. Yildiz is completely untouchable, is what you're saying, even if a strong offer
Today,
comes in.
today, yes. Today
Yeah,
is not nothing voices for sources close to Juventus and his entourage
yeah,
that we thought another things of this. I think Arsenal yesterday about the Turkish media, but I know that Liverpool is another Premier League clubs to follow the Yildiz seriously. For example, there are the Bayer Leverkusen and Borussia Dortmund in Germany, and there are many clubs to see and to following Yildiz in every match. But Juventus in this moment are not considerable is sell exactly the words about Hausen is the same in this moment. If Juventus will decide another things, if I don't know, this summer don't to sell the players that today are not in your list. I don't know if Juventus don't sell Chiesa or Vlahovic for many
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
for many prices,
yeah.
okay, maybe should be considered the sell and other players.
Okay. So that's kind of how I was feeling about Sule. Like, I feel like it kind of depends on what happens with Chiesa. I think if Chiesa ends up going, then I think for sure we keep Sule. But I
Mm.
feel like it's not ruled out that a sale of Sule could happen if a strong offer comes in. But I can't see us moving both. I don't see us selling Chiesa and Sule. It's kind of like you just said, right? It depends what happens with the first dominoes. So for you, the first kind of domino piece for Juventus is figuring out what the contract with Vlahovic and contracts with Chiesa before they kind of do anything or make any decisions. That's kind of how I take it? Am I right in
But
thinking that?
the dominoes effect could be
Yeah.
this, and without don't to consider the situation of Rabiot in midfield. That is the very important for Juventus this situation. But Sule, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand the motivation about the selling this summer because for me Sule could be values 60 70 millions. I'm working about Michael Olise 2 or 3 days ago, and I know that he has a clause of 500 millions uh, sterlings. Okay, sterlina. I don't know if pounds.
Okay.
Okay, Michael Olise. Uh, non so, I don't think the Olise is more strong about this Sule. Okay,
Mm.
Sule are arrived in Juventus for the heir of Dybala. I don't know why. If I tell you another situation, if Allegri don't to stay on the bench of Juventus, and I don't know, will arrive Thiago Motta work very well with the young player. For example, Sule, for example, Barenechea, for example, Caio George, maybe could be a one chance in to stay in first team of Juventus.
Yeah.
And in this situation today, unfortunately, are not clear, and we can do an hypothesis like Italian journal or like English journal from Sule, but Sule Juventus today told like 2 or 3 weeks ago he came back in July, and we verified the situation. Today is the reply I can tell you my man is this.
Yeah. I I guess we should address the elephant in the room, Mirko, and talk about Allegri in general. Do you so we heard the latest, which is no contacts with Zidane, no contacts with Conte. Meetings have been held with Motta. What do you know about the situation? Do you have any information about the current situation around the head coaching questions with Allegri?
I read my colleague Nicolo Schira this
Yeah,
morning. Okay, it's my day off, and I read someone news on X on Twitter. Okay, but today there are one news concrete. Okay, Juventus and Allegri are not to talk uh, yet about the contract. Before Allegri in press conference to say at my colleagues that he has the contract, is another 1 year of contract, because the sides, the parts are not talking about this situation, and I think that the situation could be changed in every moment, as last year Allegri has remained in on the bench of Juventus, but Juventus are have talked with the entourage of Italiano, Thiago Motta, Palladino, between the last days of months and the first days of June. Okay, and I think that that could be the same possibility in the next months to change the situation. I remember the 5 years ago, 2020 to 2000, sorry, 2019, when Juventus last 5 years ago
yeah,
uh, to came back against Atletico Madrid, and the situation with Allegri was the same, and
yeah.
nobody can be imagine that Juventus could be the end of the contract with Allegri, the relationship. Okay, and I one name of I can tell you, and exactly Thiago Motta. is the young profile, is the one of the best coach in this year in Serie A, and like said to 10 minutes ago, Thiago Motta is very very good for the young players, and with the next gen, with the another young players of Juventus, I think could be the right choice, or Thiago Motta or Igor Tudor. I appreciate the Tudor style, and another one name I can say you is not Conte, is not Zinedine Zidane, unfortunately, is not Jurgen Klopp, but Juventus last year are looking, are appreciate Sergio Conceição. But Sergio Conceição has more close to Allegri style.
Yeah.
He's a very strong about the tactical match. If you want to change something, the Juventus, okay, Juventus must to bring and to win a profile as Thiago Motta.
Yeah. Okay. So, and just to kind of recap there, the names that you gave about discussions that were had with Juve, there was Italiano, there was Palladino. That was going back to last summer, right?
Yes,
Okay, so those
last summer.
discussions were from last summer with those coaches and whatnot. So you're anticipating,
Before my man, before that, Scaravino confirmed Allegri at Sky Sports Italia. Okay,
yeah,
I think last days of May, before the end of the last season, before the match of Udine, and between that date and the first date of June.
okay, okay. So yeah, that's interesting. So we could be heading for the same situation where we're kicking the tires, but Mota seems to be the one that's there. So Max Allegri, nothing's going to be discussed until end of season, but he does have one more contracted year, which is kind of complicating because we might find ourselves in the same spot as what you're saying. He either has to walk or Juventus has to terminate, right? Or is there this possibility that they mutually part ways? Nobody really knows, right? Because he still has one more year by contract, right? So it's kind of difficult, right? The financial situation. We had a question from Alex P. Do you know if everything's clear as far as the legal stuff around Juventus? We were hearing about 3-4 weeks ago and then nothing else about these prosecutors in Rome trying to open up another case in terms of the finances from 21-22 season. Are we in the clear? Do you know anything? Has anything come of that, Mirko?
But is very very complicated because Juventus every year has to need rebuilding. Okay, and
Yeah.
there's no chance if you want to try to win. I don't to say 9 titles in Serie A is history, and the history you can make an history one time in 100 of year, but 2 3 titles in Italy in this moment there are only Inter, okay, Milan, Napoli, Roma are the don't continues about the performance, okay, because the only enemies that Juventus have in this moment is Inter,
Yeah.
the only, and if you want to be bravo, okay,
Yeah.
do you do you costruire, do you building the team with the two, in my opinion, two thing, okay, in two time, the young player, and in this moment Juventus have the cantera, the next
Yeah.
gen, and the project. it's not possible that the project, that the actually project, what is? Uh, for example, last January, okay, Juventus in the winter mercato wanted to buy a strong midfield, but what is the midfield in target of Juventus? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
Juventus have negotiated, have to send the request information of Samardzic, De Paul, Calvin Phillips, Jordan Henderson, Bonaventura, Pereira. We journalists maybe drinking a lot of beer, okay, or a lot of wine, but this name, okay, are the one, okay, Samardzic, and the last Pereira are the 8-10 names in 30 days, and at the end of of these words arrived Charlie Alcaraz in 2 hours.
Yeah.
In the wonderful Tuesday evening, when Juventus wanted to negotiate with Udinese for Riccardo Pereira, the genius of Giuntoli, because in my opinion is the genius, have one of two on his strong list, two players that he don't to know by the journalists and by the media, decided to go to Southampton. That in that moment Southampton will stay to negotiate with another clubs, Nottingham Forest in Premier League. Call to Southampton, okay, we'll do Alcaraz of the condition that will do in next year. I don't know. I don't see the concrete project today, because in my opinion, if the coach want the player of 25, 26, 30 year, the already already finished to play, no, with the
Yeah.
experience, okay, but
A ready now player. Yeah.
exactly the instant team,
Yeah.
only, okay, and your football director to follow the young player. Thiago Jalot is the young player. Charlie Alcaraz is the young player. This is the same thing that I and maybe many Juventus supporters are understand about this mercato, because because Allegri wanted Bonaventura, wanted the Pereira, wanted the players with experience, not the players with as Alcaraz young. Uh, Today, I hope that Alcaraz could be to begin in the starter 11 the match versus Frosinone. I hope, because in my opinion Alcaraz is a very good player, but Alcaraz don't to be the first choice in this mercato of Allegri.
Yeah. It's for me from the outside looking in, it seems like it's more the circumstances around Juventus financially that is why we're making the moves we are. And I don't really know that the project really is what it's supposed to be, because to me it sounds like, we wanted certain guys, we couldn't make it work for them, and then we started to just look at what options were available to us that we could actually move with financially, right? Like Alcaraz ended up being a loan at the end of the day. If something comes of it, we'll have to see, but the price tag right now is very high. So it's very difficult in terms of Max Allegri and himself. The project, I think, the number one thing is getting the money right, is what it seems like for Juventus, right? Because maybe if we could have moved a little bit stronger, Samardzic was always the first name. Samardzic is a young player. So Are you still like, I just want to kind of be clear here. Are you saying that Max Allegri still has quite a bit of say in terms of the players that are coming in? Or is it more on Giuntoli now?
But Samazic is the plain A, is really. But Allegri, another Bonaventura and Pereira, there was another player. If to follow in the last days of Mercato, he is named as is Federico Bernardeschi, for example. Okay,
Yeah.
that profile
Yeah.
was called to Allegri in the last mercato, in the last winter mercato. And your words about the finance of Juventus is really is the concrete situation with in Juventus is not easy. But if this summer you decided to bring Giuntoli at Torino, Giuntoli is the one of the football director, the best football director in Italy. Is you you must say the project with Juventus built in years. Okay,
Yeah.
is my opinion is exactly this, because it's not possible to continue about two different lines. Okay, and Giuntoli Allegri have different lines in this moment, but we can understand about the last choice of winter mercato, about the starters that about the role,
Yeah.
about determinate player. For example, in Junior, where is in this moment in Junior? In
Yeah.
Junior is a player that Juventus have to search it to sell last
Yeah.
mercatos last summer for 50 20 millions, and this mercato for Ealing Junior non offers, but it's very difficult to bring an offers if Ealing Junior don't play ever.
Yeah.
Ma is one of the name. For another example, why Ealing Junior, but the same Ken Moise Ken is another player that with very difficult to see the field from today and the end of the seasons, because there are determinate players that with very difficult uh, can possibility to play with Allegri, because for Allegri one of two young Yildiz and Cambiaso this year, but is very rarely. Another example, Joseph Nongi. Where is Joseph Nongi in this moment? The last choice in midfield of Juventus. It's very difficult. It's very impossible to, my opinion, could be valorized these players. It's very difficult.
Yeah. I think there's a tough balance there when you look at the roster and trying to get these guys minutes and performances and stuff too that play into it. I do think Illing Jr. should have definitely had more minutes than he has this season. But yeah, there's a lot of layers to this Juventus right now over the past 3 years. That from management, from the finances, you've talked about the legal situations last year and everything. It does feel though like a change is coming. It has that feeling around it like something's going to happen this summer. There is a rumor floating around there, and I'm going to remind everybody we got another 5 minutes here with Mirko before he signs off here. This is a question I've seen a couple times in the chat. I'm going to pull it up here. Is there anything behind the rumors of a potential wild return in some way, shape, or form of Beppe Marotta?
Is a recycled news every year in Italian media called Dago Spia. I don't know if you have heard this name, Dago Spia, and is the Italian journal that every year recirculate this news. Marotta to Juventus, Marotta to
Yeah.
Juventus, the return. No, no concrete news in this moment because the figure of Giuntoli is very strong,
Yeah.
and the next year one of his collaborator in Napoli, Pompilio. Pompilio will be the new Juventus will be one of the person that work in Juventus management next year. Pompilio was the one of the best collaborate in Napoli of Giuntoli in Napoli.
Yeah. All right. All right. Now, if Anthony, our friend Anthony, member of the AJC team, if Mirko had $1,000 to bet, well, we get into
I'm
betting
not
trouble,
rich.
Anthony. With
I'm not rich, Anthony. I'm not rich.
would we bet on Max coaching Juventus next year or leaving Juventus? So he's putting you on the spot. If you had to place a bet on Max being the coach next year or him not being the coach, what are you thinking?
It's very hard question. It's like like say in this month, I interviewed former president of Livorno Aldo Spinelli last August after the first match, Udinese Juventus. The amazing victory, one of the most amazing victory in Juventus season, and he say me officially that with Allegri will have the Redem this year. Allegri will go out in Arabia or in MLS or in other foot in other liga. Okay, but in my opinion, for me, there is a great chance to see another coach next year. If if I bet $1, Anthony, sorry, I'm not rich. For $1, I say to bet another coach of Juventus.
A
Yes.
coaching change. All right. All right. So
Yes.
that's what we seem to be hearing is that there'll be a change. So there you go. Not $1,000, but $1 from
One
Mirko.
dollar. One
There you
dollar.
go. There you go. Now, as far as Giuntoli, my last question, kind of before we get off here, is again going back to Alcaraz and whatnot. Do you think there's going to be more business abroad than in Italy? Because we always hear about these players, even Coop Miners, the price very high, and
Yes.
tough for Juventus to deal. Do you anticipate much more business abroad with Giuntoli than in Italy?
I don't know honestly. I don't know because this time Juventus are valuing determined players that already know the Serie A leagues. For example, Miners, for example, and other players. But Giuntoli is very bravo to search players that nobody knows. My man, honestly, do you know Charlie Alcaraz before I don't know the last months in December? Okay,
No
no.
chance. No
Charlie
chance.
Alcaraz is a good tennis. Is
I thought we
good.
got the tennis player.
Ecco, tennis player like Sinner in Italy, no?
Yeah.
But he's very very bravo. I some weeks ago I imagine the Giuntoli Minds. Okay, I imagine that I can try this formula. Uh, I know that Jalo Alcaz are following in Giuntoli not by Juventus but in also Napoli. Okay,
Ah, okay.
Giuntoli when work at Napoli, Giuntoli have followed Jalot, Alcaraz, and other players. That there was a Corriere dello Sport article in the summer 21, in May 21, that anticipated 4 deal of Giuntoli, Gollini, Simeone, and other 2 players. I could try with in Giuntoli person, okay, three another 3 players that Juventus could be followed from today and the next mercato. And one of the most role of Juventus could be searched is the wing as Kadioglu at Fenerbahce. And another news that I wrote last years ago is about Spinazzola. Juventus have as an informal contact between his entourage, his agent is called Davide Lippi, okay? And Juventus, in my opinion, are going to search this profile next summer. Kadioglu, Spinazzola, Siviglia of Fribourg, okay, as called by Gazzetta dello Sport last days ago, and I could be imagine in this mercato that Juventus could be operating in this mode.
Okay, Felipe Anderson, is he going to come to Juve?
There will be the potential next contacts between Juventus and the entourage of Felipe. Juventus are interesting another Premier League clubs, okay? Yeah. Juventus are not alone for Felipe Anderson, but the each that the entourage ask 4 million 2 years is very high for Juventus standard in this moment, yes. But Juventus are targeting like the Felipe Anderson and other players as the same characteristic of Felipe Anderson.
Yeah. Okay. So we got a lot there from Mirko. Mirko, I know that wraps things up for this session for your time. All right, we hit the hour mark, whatnot. Always a pleasure. I'm going to let everybody know we're sticking on. We're staying live. We're going to preview the game tomorrow morning, 3:30 a.m. my time. Mirko, you think I'm crazy for 5:30. 3:30, it better be a good game, my friend. Better be a good game. You're going to be at the stadium tomorrow. Yes. Taking in the game, all right? So enjoy yourself, my friend. I hope you get to see a Juventus victory, many goals, okay? But thank you, as always, for joining us, all right?
Thank you to you for your invitation, for the considerating that you have every day in my work and in my opinions, like today, no? And for me, it's a great pleasure to speak my horrible English with you and with your communicate. But because I can speak very little English, and is the best mode possible to speak with my friends.
Oh man, your English, man, I tell you. You watch that first time you came on here till now, it's incredible, man. Big jump. A lot of credit to you. It's not easy. I've gone on shows and done Italian. You want to see a struggle, you watch me on an Italian show, my friend. That's a struggle. Your English is great, all right? And I always thank you for taking the time for us, all right? And I'm happy that, we spoke yesterday and whatnot, and we're going to try to get Mirko on here at least one session every couple months. So hopefully April, we get Mirko back on here again, and then, so on and so on, June after that. But it's always a pleasure whenever we can have you on, and thank you for all your insights into the situation around Juventus. And let's see if that $1 bet happens, man. We'll see what happens, okay? But enjoy yourself tomorrow. at the
Yeah.
stadium, my friend. Take care.
The pleasure is always mine, my friend. Thank you to you. Okay, and good morning, good breakfast, and drink milk, not beer. Okay. Okay, and I send you a big hug for you, all you cast, and your communicate is always nice to participate at this live, because is a very great chance for both of us to speak about the one thing that can join under the same tricolore, okay?
Yes.
Juventus,
Yes.
okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you again, my friend.
You betcha. You betcha. Take care, Mirko. Ciao, ciao.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Good morning.
All right, everybody. So there's Mirko. We're going to switch things up a bit here, okay? And I will take on this right here. We're going to go full view now as we wrap up the preview for Juventus Frosinone and get into this. But, man, I tell you, Mirko's got a lot of insight in there, and it's interesting. I don't know if everybody kind of captured it, but one of the things I'm immediately thinking about when I hear him speak about the targets, the player targets, and Juventus, and the link with Max Allegri and the targets, I'm not getting that vibe that it's all necessarily from Allegri. And not all the targets are young. There is a mix of experience there, but I don't really know. I get these vibes from Giuntoli that he's kind of got this sight line, and I felt for a while that it's like the main thing right now for Juventus is the finances for me. If I'm looking at this Juve side, it's all about the finances. And I feel like the business that we are doing isn't necessarily our first pick. Like, I feel like it's been like that for a while. Out there you have these comparisons to clubs all over the place and the jump they're making and all this. Well, it's not apples to apples, because if you would have told me that in the summer Weah was all we needed, I don't think any one of us would have agreed, right? So I think we're trying to have a ton of expectations with circumstances around the club that don't necessarily warrant the big jump in expectations, right? So there's a lot going on to this Juventus. There's a lot of layers. Ultimately, what it comes down to is expectation versus results, and that's the same with any side. So I think when you look at the big picture and everything that's gone on and what we're clearly doing, there's been, as far as a total sum spent, quite a bit by Juventus in the 3 years, but it's also going towards a very select few. And you have a lot of youngsters that are being integrated that want to be banked on. And this whole project with this push for the young guys, I think we still aren't balanced, and it's all about finding that balance. And I think it's going to take time. I also think personally the shackles come off Giuntoli, not this summer, but the summer of 2025. It's going to be interesting to follow, everybody. But Mirko is always an absolute beauty. Very, very happy that we have him now committed to us at least once every couple months, okay? Because he's just so fantastic out there. He's gotten a big jump over the past 3 years, and it's definitely a guy that I want to keep around for the AJC community, because he's just so fantastic and really takes the time and does his research. It's great having him on. Now, as far as the game tomorrow, hey, they all have to be 3 points at Juventus, okay? That doesn't change, but we really, really need this victory and to snap out of it. Frosinone presents a good opportunity, okay? And you're not going to get a better opportunity. Yes, they have young players. Yes, they can create problems, etc., and be a tricky side to play. But this team away from home is not the same. They are winless on the road. Since the beginning of December, Frosinone have lost the joint most matches, 9 with Salernitana, and they have leaked the most goals in that period, conceding 31 times. That is undoubtedly relegation form, which they are going to be battling against and whatnot. You're not going to get a better opportunity than this one to snap a funk. However, we know what's been going down with Udinese, Empoli, Verona, etc. It seems like we are struggling to get back to this mindset, back to this razor-sharp focus on the pitch, and they got to figure it out. Max, we were hearing about 4-3-3 out there. Man, the 4-3-3 that I saw looked absolutely atrocious. I don't know what all you thought. The majority seemed to agree with me. It was a little bit too much. Cambiaso right wing, I'm okay with that. Could probably work, but he's got to be one of the fullbacks if you're going to go in a 4-3-3. What are we talking about? Weah and Kostic on either side. Gatti and Bremer as your two CBs. It's too much. It's too drastic. I don't think we're at that point. I think a simple change, like I was saying, 3-4-3, utilizing Alcaraz would go a long way. And it does appear that that's what we're going to see, okay? But, of course, Max in his presser kind of said that Alcaraz might play tomorrow. He still has to decide. This would be pretty frustrating, and this is one of the frustrations for me in Max when we talk. Because like I said, even though I feel a certain way about players and if we're getting our money's worth with certain guys and everything and the consistency, okay? Because I've had a long discussion with people online about consistency, coaching versus players. Where do you draw the line? Because for me, this line that is created right now that is largely skewed with the majority of the fan base towards coaching as far as responsibility, I don't think it's actually that far over, okay? Because when I look at consistency for me is on the man. It's on the man. That's not on the coach. And we can go down the line, and I've seen great performances out of Rabiot. I've seen great showings out of Locatelli, but we don't see those consistently. Danilo has been nowhere near as consistent as he was last year. Kostic is shades of the contributions he was giving last season, okay? But the system hasn't changed. So if you can do it for a series of matches, it's really up to that player to bring it consistently. Where I give the fault to on Max is that even through the good results and everything like that, he didn't fight to try a little bit more to work out the balance. The issues that were still there, even while we were winning, he didn't work at correcting that. He just kind of continued off it. And that for me is where he kind of takes the most heat, because now you find yourself in a situation where you are slumping. Guys are having a tough time getting out of this funk and whatnot, and you haven't had the alternatives that could have been found previously. Now, when we talk about Alcaraz, it's not necessarily fair because he literally just joined the team. That to me shows the shortcomings and gaps in the roster once you lose Pogba, once you lose Fagioli. So a lot of people want to make the claim that you don't need a Pogba and Fagioli to beat, Verona and Empoli, which I agree with. However, what you do need is an offensive-minded midfielder, just somebody occupying that role. Miretti has been having attempt after attempt after attempt. Is that on the coach or is that on the player? Everybody's going to have their opinions. Max is far from getting a pass, okay? But the players are not going to get a pass either from me. They all kind of share where we are at right now in this moment. Again, expectations versus results. My expectations is here to fight for the title almost to the end. I didn't expect the leader to be at record-breaking pace, okay? However, we're not far off my expectations. Coppa Italia, though, I believe final was it. I'd like to see us win that Coppa Italia. Okay, get something out of it. Get the guys that are around, that are going to be sticking around, some type of win in terms of a trophy and move forward, okay? I do believe there is a change coming this summer as far as the coaching goes, okay? But for the rest of the season, we absolutely have to finish up strong. Okay, we got to get the job done. Against Frosinone, we talked about it. There's probably no better opportunity than this one. He did confirm we are going to see the same defensive shape. 3-5-2 is what we are going to see. I do expect Alcaraz to be in there, okay? He spoke well about Rabiot, saying he is the driving force of the team. This right there kind of sums what I was saying up. This is the driving force of the team. But he has not been consistent. And he is the guy that's on 1 strong year out of 5 now. And that stems before Allegri. Sarri's season, Pirlo's season, like Rabiot's 1 year out of 5, but this is a guy that we are banking on. And we need him to provide at the midfield. And it just hasn't been there, okay? Again, roles. You do need the guys that suit those roles. Alcaraz, I believe, will be in the starting lineup, okay? And what we are seeing is this. Szczesny, Gatti, Bremer, Rugani, McKennie on one side, right wing back, Alcaraz, Locatelli, Rabiot, Cambiaso as your left wing back, Vlahovic, and Chiesa. This would be fantastic in my opinion. Your guys' thoughts on that projected lineup? For me, that makes a ton of sense, all right? I like it. And again, trying to work off of that, I always said for the better part of this season that McKennie, for me, looks better at the right wing-back role. Him and Cambiaso were doing well, though. And I could understand wanting to go with that. But the left side has always been this weak spot for me. We didn't do enough, and Max didn't do enough to sort that out. This, I understand. This I can get behind, and I could see why we'd go to this. Cambiaso on one side, McKennie on the other. I like it. And you get a little bit of a variance in that midfield by bringing Alcaraz in there and put him in there next to Locatelli and Rabiot. I am intrigued by this. It's a much more subtle change than going to a four-man backline. Four-man backline for me, I would actually do, based on the players I've seen, if you don't have Danilo available, I wouldn't even think about it. Because if you wanted to do a four-man backline for me, it would have to be Danilo on the right, Cambiaso on the left, and your center backs, I'd go with probably Bremer and Rugani. And for me right now, I'm not doing that. Right now. I would try this first off, and it can easily be adapted, and it could easily bring Yildiz on off the bench and everything. So I would like to see this against Frosinone, all right? I don't know where all your head's at, but we're going to find out right now because it is time for the prediction challenge, everybody, okay? And then we're going to get to Storm the Barn, and we're going to talk feeding off of everything that Mirko Di Natale brought us, okay? My prediction for this game is 3:30 a.m. my time, all right? And I am going to be doing the watch-along. There is a watch-along tomorrow. 3:30 a.m. is not going to stop me. You guys know that, okay? So watch-along. I hope to see you all there sharing in the live reactions with me. My prediction is this. I think Juventus wins this game 3-1, okay? I think that I don't really expect us to not concede just because of our mental kind of state right now, but the win's going to come. I do see a boost. I do see Max trying something new in the midfield. I do see it helping us. I see it helping, most of all, Vlahovic and Chiesa. Alcaraz, I think, will provide something that we could clearly see we lack when you have McKennie and Rabiot as 2 out of 3 midfielders on this team. I'm going with 3-1. As far as tiebreakers, Chiesa's taken a lot of heat. Chiesa's a big topic of discussion around the fans, but Chiesa scores against Frosinone, all right? And I'm actually going to go and say that we get 1 PK, okay? One of them will be a PK as well. those are my two tiebreakers. You guys drop your predictions in here, okay? Dom B's going with 3-0. He says we come out of the gate hard and put this to bed early. There you go. There you go. I think it'll be a little more drawn out, but I like it. I hope you're right. Davide Caru, 1-0 win, and Rugani is the score. There you go. There you go. Cortomuso, 1-0 to us. Chiesa in the 35th. Tony Trim, it's going to be closer than it needs to be. 2-1 Juventus. All right, so some tight games there. Matthew calling the 1-1 draw. If I get up at 3:30 a.m. and I watch us draw to Frosinone after everything that's gone on over these past set of matches, I might spike this monitor, okay? Not even kidding you. Not even kidding you. 2-0. Yildiz and Bremer. There you go. There you go. Jeremiah. Let's see what Jeremiah's got in here. 1-0. Milik. 6 shots, 3 of them on target. All right. All right. I actually think Juventus will get double digits in shots tomorrow. I would, if I had to guess, I'm going to say between 13 and 15. All right. But I tell you, yeah, it's got to be a win. Okay. 3:30 in the morning. I got a hell of a day ahead of me right now. Okay, we're going to buy some big jungle gym type thing for the backyard. I'm going to be putting that together all day. Okay, I've heard it's a nightmare. My buddies just started laughing at me when I told them I'm going to build that. They're like, have fun with it. They didn't want to come by and help, but that's okay. That's just more beer for me, all right? But yeah, I got to do this, so it's going to be interesting. That's my friend over there. In Australia, 3:30 a.m. is his time normally for the games. It's going to be nice for you. A 10 p.m. game. Enjoy it. It's my turn on the 3:30 a.m. train, and I'm absolutely fine with it. All right. 3-1 for Juventus from Suari. We've got 3-2 coming in here, and Michael Raso coming in here with 3-1. Juve, Chiesa, Dusan goals. Sule to score. 5 yellows, 7 Juve corners. Man, what a layout there. Man of the match, Cambiaso. Who is your early call for man of the match? All right. Who is your early call for man of the match? Let's go. Let's go. Cambiaso right there. And Michael Raza, want to know what the go-to is? Peroni, my friend. That is the go-to for me, okay? I also very much enjoy a Coors Banquet, but I'm telling you, Peroni is top and always around here. Man of the match, Chiesa. James, man of the match, Bremer. All right, so early shouts here on man of the match. I'm actually going to say that it is going to be, I'm going to agree with Jeremiah and say that Cambiaso will probably put in the man of the match of the game. Tony Trim going with Bremer as well. All right, all right. And look at this. Alcaraz to score and over 12.5. Why hasn't Max been starting him? That sounds about right. That sounds about right. Okay, now, Storm the Barn. Get your Storm the Barn questions in. We got a little bit of time before I sign off here. We got another man of the match call on McKenny. And there you go. And my man of the match is Alcaraz. I have beer at Juventus Fan Club. There you go. There you go. Having some drinks there. Like I said, those fan club opportunities as well. You guys do not just don't miss out on the crazy scenarios, opportunities that open up to you. You have a local official fan club, okay? We always talk about North America because we rep North America, okay? But there's amazing ones all over the place. Serbia, Australia, JCD, Melbourne, Gigi Buffon fan clubs. Incredible. What I've seen is insane over the past couple of years, okay? And especially when the club comes close to you. And I do hear rumblings for our friends in North America, anyone that's joined me right now or tuning in after, on the eastern side of North America, I think you're going to be in luck this summer, okay? I believe, if my information is correct, that the team will be on the eastern side this summer, okay? Again, in North America. But again, going back to these opportunities, meeting with Chiellini, that was JOFC Vancouver, all right, which my friend James here coming in from. They got to meet Chiellini, incredible moment event while he was playing with LAFC against the Whitecaps. All right, we have the moment that Miami is going to go through on March 3rd with Barzagli joining them for the watch along for that Napoli game. Incredible, okay? Incredible. It's just, there's a ton of reasons, the perks, the tickets, everything. But always bringing us closer, all right? So show some love. Should we play Vlahovic tomorrow, knowing that he is a diffidado and can risk playing against Napoli? Yeah, I would still play Dusan Vlahovic. Absolutely. I'd trust him in the scenario, whatnot, but we just need to get out there, get the job done. I would attack Frosinone, who is not good on the road. We just went through all the stats. One of the worst teams in the league since beginning of December. Okay, winless on the road. Attack them. Vlahovic, Chiesa out there from the start. Get some help in the midfield through Alcaraz. 3-4-1-2 is how I would line it up. Okay, get on him early. Try and get him off at a decent time as a substitute. Okay, but I would definitely still start Dusan Vlahovic. Is there anybody that wouldn't start Dusan Vlahovic based on that? For me, I would. For me, I would still absolutely start Dusan Vlahovic, all right? Now, some of the things Mirko said as far as targets and whatnot, that midfield list made me laugh when he showed the toilet paper roll and said you could just roll that thing. That's how deep the list is at midfield. And it is kind of interesting to see what kind of profiles Juventus is going to go with. He also did say Koopmeiners is the dream target for Giuntoli and Juventus. I don't know if I'd go as far to be like Koopmeiners is a dream. For me, out of like the options, it's actually a free agent, and it would be Cruz. Cruz for me is like a dream signing for Juventus because it's an immediate crazy boost. Koopmeiners would help this team tremendously in the middle of the park as well. I'd like to see it, but as far as the dream, I don't know. Samardzic still in there, still going to be amongst the targets when we get to the summer. We have to wait and see what's going to happen, all right, and who we go after. But this news, like he said, from his colleague and friends, they are friends, Nico Schira, Malta, no contacts with Zidane, no contacts with Conte. Mirko laughed off Klopp. So for everybody that wants Klopp, you got to laugh from Mirko Di Natale, okay? But Malta, it seems like the media is starting to jump on this, and there has been discussions. Mirko also brought up the fact that there was discussions last summer with in terms of switching off from Max. But again, that contract, and that's something that while we get all this news and everybody kind of wants this change and this push forward from Juventus, he's still got one more contract year. So Juve's going to have to bite the bullet and spend on that financially to break it. I don't see a situation where Max simply just picks up and leaves. He will want what he's entitled to, I believe. But you just never know. I don't think anybody has a clue how this scenario is going to play out. Mota, I want to ask all of you, what are your thoughts on Mota? Let's say it is Thiago Mota and he comes in. I'll share with you some of my feelings about it, okay? I've been saying for a while, and I even put it out when it was listed that it was going to be essentially between Conte and Mota. I said, I don't like Juve being that club where a guy gets his first big club experience at Juve, unless we were in kind of like this situation where 7th or 8th in the table have completely fallen off. I'm a little more open to it. But if the established guy outside of Max Allegri coming in is a return of Conte, our return, track record is just brutal. So if those were the options, I'd lean more towards Mota. I think a little bit more in terms of ideas, a little bit more methodical, not really a one-trick pony from what I've seen in this season and even last. So I would lean towards Motta, but I do have mixed feelings about it and whatnot. There's a lot of unknown with Motta, and even just in general, like I was talking about early, this coach versus players battle and picking out situations that are favorable to suit the narrative of a coach coming in and just drastically changing everything. I'm not really buying into it. Because I can, for every example that somebody puts out there, like let's say Xabi Alonso and Leverkusen, which was a big battle between me and Ale, okay, and we're going to hash it out on a show. I know that's coming up. But it is an apples to apples for me because you have a team that invested. They spent 90 million euros on the summer to back, and that's just on the deals, not including the free agent targets that they brought in that had to pay a wage to. That's commitment. That's backing your guy. In terms of us, I don't think we've really fully committed because we haven't been able to because of the finances. So while everybody would consider this being 3 years, I don't actually see it as being 3 years continuously because we haven't been able to work properly. Year one was a blow up. You can look at the 3 years ago side, and if you're going to hold it on one position saying 3 years worth of work, there's nobody left from that 3 years side. 3 years ago, there's like nobody left. It's completely dismantled. That year almost goes out the window because we lost Ronaldo, scrambled, brought in Moise Kean, and again, ended up cleaning house, so to speak. And then last year to this year, you could say that is kind of a build. That's kind of where you go. You could let's consider last year the first true year. Well, we know what happened last year. Point deduction, all this nonsense, all this hoopla. We brought in targets. Again, they were free targets. And it didn't pan out. Okay? But we were limited. Now you go in a follow-up year, you spend 12 million euros on Timothy Weah. I just don't see it as apples to apples. And again, when you want to talk about coachings, I don't know if a coach, and I still stand firm on this, any coach that you pick, that you handpick, that you bring in here right now, I don't believe that he makes a drastic difference in terms of results and points. Not immediately. This is going to be a slow build, but somebody said this to me and said the money doesn't matter. And I almost had to laugh. Actually, it was LA. I almost laughed. Of course the money matters. How doesn't it? Any coach that goes in needs time and needs to be backed. You can argue Max's time is up, and I'm fine with it. I have no problem with the change. But I do challenge if we fully committed, because I haven't seen a team that's been able to do that. Again, when we go from expectations, a jump with only adding Weah, bringing in Cambiaso back, who has done well. McKennie, we tried to sell. We tried to sell McKennie, and then, he ends up being one of our best, which speaks volumes about the players. I'm kind of ranting here, but I just don't think it's apples to apples, everybody. Has Sarri ever brought that offensive dynamo that he had at Napoli? I haven't seen it with any other side that he's gone to. I just haven't seen it. All this said, Thiago Motta, I'm fine with it if this is the guy that we move forward for. But I still say, for Motta, for any of the guys you bring in, we have to get the finances right first off and foremost. Because it does matter. You have to back your managers. Sarri never got backing and everybody holds that against management. Fine, rightfully so, but they saw him off. Pirlo then comes in. Pirlo, 1 year, gone. You need stability, but you also need to back them. Right now, from what Mirko Di Natale brought us today, it doesn't seem like there is this cohesion in terms of the project. That's been there for some time now. We need it all to mesh. Because right now it kind of feels like Management is saying like, this is what you're going to get, whatever, kind of deal with it and whatnot, which is fine. I have no problem with that, okay? But then get somebody that it kind of suits, because Mirko kind of says that he doesn't understand it because Max Allegri wants the experienced guys, all this. I do believe, and I stand firm on this, we are tipping the scale on too young, and we do need ready now players. They can be called experienced players. They can be older of age, but they are ready now guys. We'll see what happens. There's a lot to go. I want to get your thoughts on Motta. Let's see. Motta is an unknown. Brought up here. Okay. Never coached a big side. It's going to be a mystery. All right. So that's coming in from Mark 1. He will be a mystery. Let's get to Reno. I don't mind Motta. Something fresh. Okay. In terms of Eric, I really like Motta. However, hiring him and expecting him to win the Scudetto in his first season is such a huge ask. Yeah, I mean, it's if I look at this roster again, I'm going to be the same in terms of expectations until I see what the changes in the roster are. And again, this is the thing. What a roster looks like on paper, at the end of the day, doesn't really mean anything because it all comes down to what happens on the pitch. But any way you slice it, these guys have to deliver. They have to deliver. The guys that you bank on have to bring it. Game in, game out. It's everybody feels a certain way in terms of players versus coach, but I think the split is not as one-sided as it is. And a coaching change coming to Juventus, I'm absolutely fine with it, but let's back them. Let's back them, okay? Now, I want to say this, and myself and Ale for Matthew, to him out there, we do pre-recorded shows as Tony Trim brings in here, but the next one is going to be a live session, all right? So look out for that one. We are going to do a live session together, and that one is sure to be a lot of fun. And Ale and I usually on opposite sides on things. The last one we kind of agreed on quite a bit, which is not usually the case. So I'm sure the next one's going to see a lot of heat, okay? Again, guys, storm the barn, fire them away. James saying Motta, sure. Similar to Allegri, though. No? Look, I've said this, and a lot of people have disagreed simply because what they're seeing on the pitch, right? But Motta has gone through 3 formations this season. He has landed on 2 of them, and he changes them based on certain guys that are in the lineup versus out of the lineup. But they are very much a defensive team. Their aim is to not concede against all their opponents, but they're playing great ball because of the way that they are transitioned. Their transition game is so strong. But when I look at them, this is where that battle kind of comes up because everybody says quality. There is no way they have a roster that's hiring quality to Juventus. And I'm not going to disagree with that. However, when I look at teams that kind of work well overall, all their roles are fulfilled. Okay? And it goes back to what I was saying when I was putting a combination of blame on the players and a combination of the blame on Max. The roles are complete. You're not going into a game wondering, oh man, is this guy going to be able to create for us? Where's the creation going to come from? Like, who's doing what? The roles are fulfilled. And Juventus doesn't necessarily have that. And the guys that we look to for some of those answers, they haven't brought it. Miretti was one of them. He hasn't been able to do that in multiple positions, ahead of the pivot, Mezzala, second striker, like just complete freedom as one of the 2 forwards to try and create for us, to try and be that helpful push offensively. Outside of that, with Fagioli and Pogba out, I'm not so sure where the boost comes for in the midfield as far as that role for Juventus. And that's why I kind of feel like any manager would have been a little bit hard done by. Alcaraz now has just come in. Let's see him play. Hopefully he can help it, okay? Just say it. It's going to be very, very difficult, I think, for any manager coming in here. But I do see similarities between Motta and Allegri, and I'm actually fine for it. And I will say this, because while I've done a switch and I was so kind of protective over the players the past couple of years, okay? But I've made a switch this season and everybody's kind of seen it. Everybody's obviously seen it. Now they've put me as Pro Max. I really don't care, okay? People can label me Pro Max, whatever. I am Pro Juventus, for fuck's sakes, okay? That's all I am. I am Pro Juventus. I don't give a shit about the names involved. It could be anybody, okay? But for me, I did make a switch on the players because, again, anything that people try to argue with me about, it goes out the window when I see a lack of options to fulfill certain roles, and when I watch certain players bring it for several games and then fall flat on their face for a big stretch while the system has remained the same entirely. I'm going to put more on the guys because there's a standard at Juventus that should be set, and these guys should not get a pass. Nobody should get a pass at Juventus. Coach, players, even management. None of them should get a pass. And that's what I am saying, okay? I am never scared of change, okay? I just think the standard needs to be right across the board. Players, coach, and management, okay? And the next coach, I hope they back him. I hope we clean up our finances, which apparently we're working to. We have no choice, everybody. 2025 is when we have to have our FFP cleared up and compliant with UEFA, or there's penalties, okay? So we have no choice. This summer, I think we're a selling team. We're a selling team, like Anthony Scanga has said many, many times on this show. We are going to be sellers, okay? First and foremost. As far as the targets we bring in, yeah, we're going to be working that free agent list. Mirko Di Natale brought us Hermoso, etc. We're going to see how it goes down, all right? But there's a lot going on around Juventus. Never a dull moment. But right now, focus, getting into the top four. Right now, there are fans getting very, very nervous with Bologna. Atalanta's red hot. Bologna's playing well. Milan kind of had a drop there against Monza, whatnot. They'll get back, I'm sure. It's going to be tight. We need to get back winning ways. 3:30 a.m. Hope to see you all here for the live. Let's get back to winning ways. Got to do it against Frosinone. You guys have been fantastic. Drop a like on your way out. Hope to see you all for that live session. 3:30 a.m. espresso match. I'll have the espresso going, okay? Let's get that victory, all right, everybody? Thank you again. Hope you enjoyed our fantastic guest, Mirko Di Natale, who we will be joined with more frequently now. I'm happy to announce that, all right? So take care, everybody. Enjoy your weekends. We'll see you very, very bright and early my time on Sunday, all right? Take care. Fino alla fine. Forza Juve. No matter what, changes most likely coming, everybody. Take care.
Yeah.